Well, I'm getting some mowing done here. I've got that stretch on the right of way and then all the way out to the highway. And that's even wider out there. Now I'm starting on this piece in here. But then when I'm done here, and this, the horse has been grazing in here, so there isn't a lot of hay in here, but it's mostly I'm knocking down the weeds and there's some good hay. But then I got to move over into the new part that I opened up last year and start in there. But I did take the loader off just because it's a whole lot easier running without the loader on. But my new Pitman is working fine. I should explain, what the Pitman does. It comes out of the power takeoff from the tractor, goes to this pulley that's got a belt on it and a slip clutch. If you should overload it, that's safety. This clicks in here. Or the belt can slip if you're lucky, so you don't break something. But what the Pitman does, it changes the rotation of the power takeoff to a back and forth, the reciprocating motion for the sickle. There's that fancy clipping end. They're actually a pretty ingenious device, but they've been around forever. I like this style of mower, though a trailer mower like this, like a lot of them are mounted on a 3-point. This trailer type, it takes a lot of room to get turned. That's where when I get in tight spaces like that with the Belarus, is not a sharp turner tractor in the first place. It can be a bit of a problem. You got to plan it out, but now I've had the same piece for a long time, so I know how to do it. But also, I put this on a few years back, that sweep that goes on the end of the sickle. Now what that does, it cuts it and then it moves the hay over so it leaves a clear space. Well, that clear space is so that when you come around on the next round, you've got a good place for this front shoe. Because if you don't have that sweep on there, you're constantly plugging up in this front piece. And even this has got a kind of a sweep to pull it into the middle to clear that area. Because you can plug it up. And this particular mower does not lift high. It's got a hydraulic lift, but that's as high as it goes. Now there's some mowers, they'll flop way up, and you can clear them that way. This one, that's the limit. But for transport, then it'll fold up, but just for operating it in the field, you really can't do much, So you get in pocket gophers, you get dirt on top of the sickle, then it will not cut. So a lot of times, if it's dry, you can lift it and it'll shake out. Otherwise, you got to shut down, come out here and clean the pocket gopher off. But that sweep is a heck of a good thing. You really need something like that on a mower. This one came from Tractor Supply Company, and I think it was like $40 or $50, but it just, they make a lot of them. They used to be made out of wood all the time. I know some of them use a fiberglass one, which works, but the thing about them is you have to be careful and lift it before you try backing up. If you back up with them, you'll bend them. I've seen the wooden ones get broke quite commonly. But I think it's too much dew on the grass right now. I can't cut, she'd hammer away. But once the dew leaves, then I'll start cutting again, and when I get this piece cut up, then I'll rake what I did yesterday, and I should be able to bale that right away and be done with that. Well, then I got to pick it up, and I got to haul it home and stack it, so there's not not a quick done with that, but I'm making progress, and it's been kind of nice, except for the dew. But it's been nice. It's relatively cool, you know, it gets in the 70s, and that's a lot better than the 90s. But I got work ahead of me, which is working good. I do like those old International mowers. You know, like I say, this is the type that uses the Pitman. A lot of newer mowers use a wobble box to accomplish the same thing. Well, that's a pretty involved contraption. They're good when they work. They'll run good, but once they start getting any looseness in them, they just hammer themselves apart, and they're outrageously expensive to fix. You know, there's nothing that can go wrong that's going to cost me a lot of money, so I like to stick with this. You know, it's a short, you know, what, like 7 foot. Now, my brother does a lot of haying with a double 9 mower, where there's 2 sickles, each taking 9 feet, you know, so you're out there 18 feet every round. Well, that's good if you got a good open area, but for like doing road ditches, oh, they can be a headache. There's just a lot more to go wrong. For what I do, this works very well, and I think I think it was $75 for the mower and the 2 junk mowers, so I'm set up for a while. You know, I got to always patch something together. And it's actually been a good mower. And of course, Belarus working fine, like Belarus does. They just keep hammering away. You know, the only thing about it, it is not good for making sharp corners. So sometime I wouldn't mind getting a different tractor to use for the mowing and the raking, though this works great on the baler, you know, because it's got a lot of power. But it is nice to take the loader off. Just steers easier. You don't, you know, I'm always working around trees and stuff, and if you got a loader on, it just makes it awkward. But I got a day ahead of me. I got 3 or 4 days ahead of me, but it looks like it's going to be dry weather for a while. And one of the next projects will be to get that rake going, which should be okay. The baler is usually a challenge, but if I get air to the tires, that's usually the problem with that. She worked good all last year, and I did a lot of baling with it, so hopefully she'll continue to work. Because that's, well, if I have to fight with it too much, I'll just have my brother come and do it with the round bales, which is actually a little easier to feed, because then I can just put them in that, you know, I just dump the whole bale in that feeder, and I don't have to worry about it. But if you do that way, the horses will do nothing but stand and eat all day. It's better if I can throw them single bales. Though, you know, when it's in the middle of winter, it's nice if you can just have the feed there for them. But I got work. I always got work. I'm busy all the time. I don't know how I used to get all this done and work, you know, when I was running road grader all the time. You know, I don't know how I got all my other work done. Well, I was always behind. At least now it's kind of nice. I can get stuff done when it needs to get done. You know, and that's nice, not to have to be behind all the time. You know, I'm able to do my hay when the hay needs to be done. Cut my wood when it needs to be cut. You know, I'm liking this. Not working all the time. I think, you know, I really enjoy myself. I think it's kind of a shame. A lot of people, you spend all week working, looking forward to a weekend, and then you're right back in the rat race again. Kind of like not doing that.